The reason or reasons for your absences throughout the years, please exit the auditorium without your high school diploma. Once you've exited, remove your cap and gown and proceed.
You said you'd never give up the convertible.
Look, the van even has its own vacuum.
You said you'd never stop listening to your music.
Do your happy dance, do your happy dance, yeah.
You said you'd never schedule your life around a stuffed animal.
Nobody panic. Bun Bun is still at daycare.
You said you'd never give in to demands.
2 kids' meals. And a chocolate shake.
And never put them in harm's way.
I'll be right back, little man. Just gonna pop in the store for diapers.
But never happens. And no amount of time is okay to leave your child in a car by themselves.
Long line today.
Temperatures as low as 60 degrees can be deadly for children left behind. So always bring them with you every time you park the car. Stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Barry, Sable, and Friends on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
The Sunday morning show's here again with Uncle Barry and his friends. Turn it up and settle in. Time to do it all again. From diamonds and deals, let's do it again. It's Barry Sable this morning here on 1210 with friends dropping by and stories to share. There's always something happening when Barry's on the air. From diamonds and gold to stories untold and a few good friends. It never gets old. Stories, smiles, a few surprises too. Spend your Sunday morning with Barry and the crew.
Yes, indeedy. Grateful to you for tuning in to the Barry Sable Show with Friends, 1210 WPHT in Philly. Hope all is having a fun summer. Hard to believe, isn't it, that it's the second week of August already, and time is just flying by. Oh, well, nevertheless, we are together today, and I thank you as always for joining me on your busy Sunday morning so much. So let's try and make some sense of what's going on in this upside-down world if we can. By the way, a special shout-out to my friend Tom Azelby on this very same station Saturday mornings 8 to 9. Yes, we all know that we are part of the weekend crew. Call-in numbers 855-839, a simple 1210 will do. Kirk Cordless on the other side of the glass. And as promised me 2 weeks in a row, he showed up that I would have a return visit with Alex Bernstein, chief operator of the Burlington County Office for the Election of Republicans, what I call a budding superstar. He is a political rising force to be dealt with. But before I get a chance to converse and dissect this young man's ideology of today's complicated universe, I have some simple thoughts I want to discuss with you. Growing up, my dad would hit me up with all of these types of annoying phrases like, pay attention and learn something. I used to hate that. I really did. And so many others that tried my patience. Of course, dads will be dads, I would say to myself, but the one that stuck with me the most was, the years would tell more than the days will it ever know. Oh, okay, Dad. I know what I'm doing. I'm not so sure you do. He would laugh and say, ha ha. You'll see. As the years flew by, I went from being a know-it-all to later realizing how I knew little to none. I went from being so smart to what rapidly felt like overnight a complete dunce. Oh, man, asking my dad, please give me your experience and wisdom. I need your help. And while he was always there, he came through. I'm sure most of you at one time or another experienced the same. God, don't we miss that security blanket? How can you not? I know I surely do. So where am I going with this? Now, as I have come what I would call full circle, the golden years have quickly arrived as I reflect back to what I call my formulative years, where my past experiences has led me to this very timetable of life. At one time or another, our grandparents and parents lived and escaped from the very existence in the old country, and they ran from persecution of the likes I hope our future generations never experience. They fought and they sacrificed so much for our freedom that exists today. We are truly blessed, but I'm sincerely concerned for times that lay ahead. The direction this new political and radical wave of thinking is taking a foothold in our nation, and this is profoundly frightening and a defined reality. It's unfolding right before our very own eyes. I ask you, why don't we ever learn from others' past experiences, their trials and tribulations of life? We surely don't want to relive what our relatives suffered and escaped from. Now, do we? The fruitful years of yesterday has taught me to be aware of the dangers that lay ahead. If we don't wake up and fast, the devil has landed at our doorsteps, and we have opened the door and invited him in with his disciples to enter. Yes, the years have apprised and taught me well. Alex Bernstein, all of 22 years old, full of only days, but rather capable. Shake me and tell me it ain't so. Give me solace. Convince this old man all will be okay.
Well, good morning, Uncle Barry. It is great to be back with you here on the show. Before I begin to answer that question, I want to thank you.
For what?
It is a beautiful Sunday morning here.
Yep.
And there is nowhere I would rather be than in the studio with you, having a conversation about the issues that matter most.
There you go. Thank you.
Now, I've been thinking a lot about this question. And as you know, I'm on the ground every single day talking to voters about the issues that are important to them.
Yep.
And I had a thought. Sometimes, in order to look forward, you have to look backwards. And we're here in the beautiful city of Philadelphia. I want to open with this. As Philadelphia's own Benjamin Franklin once said, when a joiner wishes to fit two boards, he pairs off a bit at both sides.
Hold on a second. Let me think about that for a second. He pairs off both sides. Is that what you're saying?
What am I talking about here, Uncle Barry? I'm talking about the idea of compromise.
Okay.
That part of our politics has been completely eroded and basically destroyed in our political system today. We need to try and get that back because Western civilization is worth fighting for.
Okay.
At its core, it seeks to do good for humanity, and it's built on the idea that our rights come from a higher power and not from government. But we do need a government to provide a framework and a path that benefits and protects our society and each of its citizens.
Okay.
The problem with seeing everything through the eyes of partisanship is that it prevents benevolent intentions from coming to the surface, because the way you ultimately get to the best policy for the country is through the discourse and the give and take that comes from compromise and meeting each other halfway.
But hold on a second. What was wrong with the policies that we have? Okay, the policies, as far as I'm concerned, what's wrong? We were doing great. We have capitalism. People have opportunity. They have freedom to come and go and do as they like. Why all of a sudden is there disparity? Why are people unsettled and not happy? And looking, it's kind of like this reminds me when the Jews left Egypt and then Moses went up to heaven or the sacred land, came back with the 10 commandments, and they were rejoicing and they were celebrating idols again. What happened to those people? God made them suffer. That's my concern. Are we going to suffer because of these liberal thoughts and radical ideas?
Well, that is the golden question, Uncle Barry. And I've been on the ground a lot this week talking to people left, right, and center.
Yep.
And what you're referring to is a sinister movement that is on the horizon that I think is really exemplified by the most recent race that we saw, the primary victory of Abdul El Sayed for Senate in Michigan.
Uh-huh.
Why are so many people looking at this race? Okay, you have a Midwestern country. It looks like this seat might be in play for the Republicans. The reason that this was one of the most closely watched primary races in the nation and garner national attention, it is because it is the ultimate representation of the battle taking place in today's Democratic Party, and the results of that election will drive the future.
Okay, so hold on one second. Kurt, let's go to clip 1, if we may, and let's think about what you're really insinuating is students that drove that voting register to a certain degree. Let's play clip 1, Kurt.
Do you hate America?
Yes. Yep.
When you see somebody waving an American flag, what do you feel?
White supremacist.
Oh, boy.
Sadness.
Do you think capitalism is evil?
Yes. Hard yes. Yeah, for sure.
Do you support socialism?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
If the U.S. government collapses tomorrow, would you celebrate?
Okay. Did you just hear that? Those are your peers. And let me tell you, that interview was live. Do I have to be concerned? We have a war going on, correct? We have to deal with, which we did, Venezuela. We had to deal, someday we're going to deal with Cuba. We have to worry about Russia. We have in the war with Ukraine. We are worried and we're involved with Iran. Now I have to deal with this. Kids your age telling me they dislike America, Alex?
There's a lot to be concerned about, Uncle Barry. There's no doubt about it, but you have to start somewhere. This clip is very revealing, and it's very interesting. I actually lived through this myself. I grew up in the education system, and when you're in school, what's taught to you becomes real, and that sets the paradigm and becomes your reality. They're repeating this like the grass is green, like the sky is blue, because they don't know any better. And unfortunately, that is what's taught in our public school system today.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question. Here's a thought. Only in America can a kid wear $175 shoes, sip a $6 coffee, and post from a $1,200 phone about being oppressed and claiming capitalism has failed them. What kind of nonsense is that, my friend?
Well, that's very true. And let's zoom in here for a second. There's something very interesting. We mentioned the results of the primary race for Abdul El Sayed in Michigan. Well, here's something I think that's very important to note. This idea that the Democratic Socialists of America and far-left candidates like Abdul are addressing affordability is actually a farce. Because if you look at the election results, he did very poorly with the working class, low-income, and minority voters. But you know who he did very well with, Uncle Barry? Young, college-educated people. They are voting for this because this aligns with the rhetoric that is taught to them in schools.
Yeah,
and we
it's very
have a
true.
new emerging constituency.
Yep.
Again, look at the map. One of Abdul's biggest voting blocks was the University of Michigan.
Listen, for those that might not be aware, hey, Kirk, let's go. Nancy Mace is talking about what just young Alex talked about, Abdul Ed Sahib. Let's play this clip so we make sure we're all on the same page. Let's go to clip 2.
Campaigned with Hassan Piker, of all people, the same guy who said America deserved 9/11.
Wow.
Hassan Piker also has a framed photo of the Twin Towers hit on 9/11 framed on his wall in his office for everyone to see every time he films a podcast. Abdul campaigned with this guy, a communist who said he'd vote for Hamas.
I would vote for Hamas over Israel every single time.
Yeah, terrorist. What are your thoughts on that? Here's a guy that is telling you in America. Can you imagine this happening in the Middle East if you're an American, like they had in Dearborn, Michigan, where there's a ton of people that was marching with flags other than America? Can you imagine what would happen to them, my friend?
This is an emerging constituency that is forming in the new Democratic Party today. And you really have to think about this from a strategic perspective. First of all, what do radical Islam and the far left both have in common is that they want to destroy and dismantle the country and reshape it in their image. What you're seeing here is strategists have looked on a map and they've noticed that we have two new voting blocks emerging who are voting at very high rates. In Dearborn, Michigan, they turn out for Abdul El Sayed. And unfortunately, there are a lot of radical people in the country today. At the same time, you have those on the far left, which are teaching our young people. And these kind of ideas and rhetoric are resonating with that base. As I said, we're seeing a new constituency emerge, and people are jumping ship, Uncle Barry. Moderate Democrats and Republicans are looking at this and realizing what's emerging, and they do not want this in their party today.
Chaos. We have become a nation that has lost its collective mind. Let me just read you a few things before we go to a break. If a man pretends to be a woman, you are required to pretend with him. Oh, I love that. Somehow it's un-American for the census to count how many Americans are in America. Russians influencing our elections are bad, but illegals voting in our elections is good. People who have never owned slaves should pay slavery reparations to people who have never been slaves. Lastly, here, this is the important one. And like the others, people who have never been to college should pay the debts of college students who took out huge loans for their degrees. Alex, I mean, come on. This is what we are as a society embracing. None of this stuff makes sense. Go ahead, Alex, before we take a quick break.
Not everybody is embracing this, Uncle Barry. Did you see recently an op-ed penned in the New York Post by actually Bill Clinton's chief counsel, who penned an op-ed saying that the Democrats have gone off the deep end. Even Hillary Clinton was on the show recently warning that Abdul al-Sayed puts Democrats in a bad spot as it relates to the idea of them spreading socialism and communism. This race is now on the map for Republicans to flip. And actually, your viewers can go online right now and look up Democrats for Mike Rogers. There's still a lot of moderates in this country who do not like the direction that we're going in, and they want to right the ship. I truly believe that those people are going to save the country, and we need to empower them to vote.
From your mouth to God's ears. Listen, before we take a break, let me give you a little joke, lighten up the topic. Finally, it has happened. After decades, beer is now cheaper than gas. Now there will be a new slogan. Just drink, don't drive. You are listening to the Barry Sable Show with friends. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. My special guest, the budding superstar, as I call him, Alex Bernstein. See you on the other side of the break.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Get ready for a new era of Penn State sports under new head coach Matt Campbell. Follow it all on the official home of Penn State football and basketball games. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app. See Joe Conklin at Parks Casino every third Thursday. It's Comedy Night. August 20th, headliner Taylor Mason. Get tickets at joeconklin.com.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
You can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
Yes, indeedy, I am back. You are listening to the Barry Sable Show with friends with my special guest, Mr. Alex Bernstein. You know, Alex, we talked about students learning, and you heard it from either a standpoint of college or universities, what they thought about America. So let me lead you in this direction. So if these students think that America is so bad, socialism is so good that they had to build a wall to keep people from escaping all that happiness. Do these kids know? Maybe we need to take them abroad, put them in one of these or so many of these countries, and let them see what it actually is like. America has become soft, Mr. Alex Bernstein.
Well, you might be right, Uncle Barry. And I think what your viewers might notice is that it's becoming harder to actually have a conversation with people.
Yep.
Why is this happening? One of the tenets of the education system and the modern political left today is the idea that your ideology is your identity. Now, in reality, nothing could be further from the truth. But this is in line with a tenet of the modern political left that says that everything is political, including your very existence.
Yep.
The logical end to that idea is actually that a disagreement with your political view is an attack on who you are.
Yep.
I disagree with you becomes I hate you. You know, I mentioned before the idea of hyperpartisanship, but we need to go back to the idea of constructive disagreement. With our young people today, what does that look like? It actually starts with asking a question. What do you believe in and why? But it's a two-way street.
But hold on one second. That leads me, you mentioned the word people. So I want to know from you, who are the people? Where can I find them? And the two-way street, what are they thinking? Take me down that path. Go
Well,
ahead.
you're looking at one of those people right here, Uncle Barry, and it starts with the conversation that you and I are having right now.
Yes.
As when you're young and impressionable, what's taught to you becomes your paradigm.
Yes.
But when you ask a question, you have to actually want to know the answer. What are our young people learning in schools today? Well, much of our modern curriculum is built on Howard Zinn's A People's History of the United States. For viewers who aren't familiar with this book, this is a Marxist retelling of our country's founding that warps American history through the false lens of oppressor versus...
What is that book again?
Howard Zinn's A People's History of the United States.
Okay, I'm gonna
it's
pick
very
that up.
important for viewers to understand this because this is what kids, unfortunately, are learning in school. As I said, it is taught, or rather, it teaches young people that American history is based on the idea of oppressor and oppressed, and this language is being replicated in modern politics today. At the same time, to compound the issue, there is an overall lack of civic education in our country, so young people don't really have a firm grasp of our history, our founding, and what it means to actually be a citizen of this country. Let me give you one example of what I'm talking about, Uncle Barry. The Cato Institute recently gave a 4th of July survey on America's 250th birthday, as you know, to test Americans' knowledge. And the results, I got to say, were quite shocking. This is the starting point, Uncle Barry, and I want your viewers to listen very carefully. Nearly 2/3 of Americans under the age of 30 are unaware of what America's 250th actually commemorated. This is the starting point. Education. We must restore this civic education in our public school system, and we need to operate from a common understanding.
How are we going to do this, Alex? You have so many different diverse groups that have come into this country. Let's take Delran. A ton of Brazilians live there. Go to Northeast Philly. A ton of Russians live there. Let's go to Dearborn, Michigan, where you see all these Muslims. Let's go to Minnesota, where you have all these Somalians. And let's even go to Lakewood, where you have all these Hasidic Jews. You have pockets and pockets of people that may not be assimilating into our country. This is a big problem. So therefore, when you talk about education, I have no idea what the schools are teaching these kids in each one of these pockets, because they may kind of funnel in to their own beliefs from the old countries, not even America. We don't exactly know what they're being taught, do we?
We got to go back to basics, Uncle Barry. 73% of Americans say that Republicans and Democrats not only disagree over plans and policies, but also cannot agree on basic facts. What unites everybody is common sense and objective reality. Let me take you to another tenet of the modern political left that is continuing the divide in this country today. I want to talk to your viewers very briefly about this idea of postmodernism. This is a philosophical notion that teaches that there is no objective truth.
Wow.
The problem...
What a statement. No objective truth.
Yes.
Go ahead.
What we're seeing on a large scale is that we've convinced a portion of the population that 2 + 2 = 5. Now, I don't mean that quite literally, but we're all familiar with George Orwell.
Are they using calculators to get that or what? Because I'm concerned they
Yeah.
can't do it on their own. Go ahead, my friend, before we take a quick call.
When our electorate becomes uninformed, this creates a vacuum for sinister ideas to take over. And this is how we've seen this ideology rapidly spreading.
Yep.
What is going to unite all of these people is a basic civic understanding and an education on where we started. As I said, Uncle Barry, let's go back to basics.
There you go. Peter, you're live on the air with Alex Bernstein and Uncle Barry. Good morning.
Uncle Barry, how are you today?
This sounds like Peter Mimo to me. I know this voice. I know who this is. Surprise me. Go ahead, Peter.
I think that you guys, the discussion that you guys are having, while it will go over most people's heads, is exactly the issue that we're facing today in our politics.
Yeah.
We no longer have policy differences, like how much money are we going to spend on taxes, or how are we going to handle our military budget. Our differences now have become ideological, East versus West. I see the merge of Islamism and Marxism, and I don't know, 20 years of educational indoctrination, and that's starting to catch up with us. It's starting to catch up with our kids. It's also enhanced by the media, by, of course, education and TV, what they see on social media, what they see on TV.
Peter, let me ask you a question.
What we're left with.
Yeah, of course. You've done a zillion shows with me on the air. Here's my concern. You have blue and red states now. How are you going to have a functioning country when New Jersey, people say it's hopeless for a Republican even to run because that state is blue? California, blue. New York, blue. I think you could correct me, Maine and New Hampshire or one of them, blue. Michigan could be blue, God forbid. How do we operate as a unified country, Peter, if we're fragmented?
Well, look at Washington. You tell me. And
Washington never fixes itself. That's your statement, correct?
Washington, D.C. will never fix Washington, D.C. They are incapable of it. The rot is too deep. We can send all the conservatives up there we want. We can send the Chip Roys and the Mike Lees and the Jim Jordans and the Ellie Stefanik. And these are great people, and they want to do great things. But, Alex, correct me if I'm wrong, nothing ever changes. Nothing ever changes. And these differences are becoming so great now. Take an issue like voter ID, where modestly 70% of the country know we need that to have secure elections. Yet Washington, D.C. refuses to bring it up. Now, there's something really intrinsically wrong there. Something that's supposed to be representative of the people. And we're getting so far away from that. And I really appreciate Alex's input. You know, to me, he was talking about the Enlightenment versus, you know, Islamism and the Eastern philosophies. And that's exactly what we're seeing. Our rights don't come from men in robes. It doesn't come from politicians. We're born with those rights. Nobody can take them away. That's why democracy is a word you won't find in our Constitution. Our founders loathed that word. They considered it mobocracy. They considered it 51% of the people enforcing their will on the other 49%. We're a republic. Republicans have to get back to messaging better. We just don't message properly. If we're going to let Islamists and socialists take Hassan Piker, who says we deserve 9/11, if we're going to let them beat us, boy, we are in a lot of trouble, because we should be able to beat them every day of the week on American values. Shouldn't we, Alex? Shouldn't we, Barry?
Of course. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Alex.
well, Peter, you said something really interesting that I do want to touch on. You talked about social media. So we've started with this radical movement that we've allowed to fester and take over our school system, and now we're seeing this stay at a large scale. And that has really been accelerated by social media and the internet. Now, make no mistake about it. The internet is a phenomenal tool, and I've learned so much just by reading online. We have access to an unlimited amount of information, never before in human history. But there is a problem. For those who don't know how to use it correctly, the algorithm isolates us into our own silos because it feeds us content we agree on the more that we interact with it, and it does not offer an alternative viewpoint. So while you and I, Peter, are sitting here and looking at something we think objectively and saying, how can nobody else see this? We have to realize that on their phones, they're seeing something completely different. I think, as I said before, in order to start to break down the divide, I'll say it again, we need to go back to basics. Put down the cell phone, pick up a constitution, and actually learn about our country's founding. You know, you mentioned, Peter, the idea that we're a constitutional republic. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't seem to me that these civics are actually being taught in our school system.
Yep.
And, you know, your political views can't be formed on the internet. You can certainly enhance them, but you have to build a real foundation and then continue on from there. I think the answer to curing the extremism that we see in our politics today is by, for young people, as I said before, pick up a history textbook and put down the cell phone. You know, young people, when you don't have a foundation and you're building your news cycle and your ideology off of 5-second clips on the internet, you don't have a full understanding of the issues. That leads to a lot of confusion and frustration, yet you don't really know what's going on.
Peter, we're up against the break. Give me 15 seconds for Alex. Yeah, the years will tell more than the days will ever know. Give it to him, Peter. 15 seconds of advice.
I think Alex is absolutely right. I've got to fight for perspective myself. Everybody wants to turn Hannity on for an hour, and you're going to feel good, and you're going to hear what you want to hear. But the fact of the matter is, for us to understand the whole problem, we have to gain perspective from all different sides. And like you say, we're being fed what we want to hear, and we're losing that perspective, and it's showing up at the polls. Great show today, guys.
Thank
Really
you,
appreciate
Peter.
it.
Thanks, Peter.
Peter Mimo, one of the original Barry Sable and friends. We will have him with me in studio shortly again in the next few weeks. We're up against the break. Alex Bernstein with Uncle Barry knocking it out of the park. See you on the other side of the break.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Retirement. Exciting, but also kind of scary. How do you create that paycheck to do everything you want to do? Tune in to the Retirement Spectrum with Alan Cohen. Saturday afternoons at 3 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and nearly 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. Left untreated, these veins can cause tired, heavy legs, swelling, burning, cramping, aching, even restless leg syndrome. In some cases, it can lead to serious health risks, like blood clots. USA Vein Clinics offers minimally invasive treatments that take as little as 15 minutes, covered by most insurances. Call 267-223-7162 and schedule your appointment today. Don't wait. Call 267-223-7162 for free information today. Imagine walking, exercising, and sleeping peacefully again. Varicose and spider veins won't go away on their own. USA Vein Clinics can help. Call 267-223-7162 for fast, easy, and affordable solutions. USA Vein Clinics treatments are covered by most insurance plans. Don't put this off any longer. Call 267-223-7162.
TurnersvilleJeep.com. Your South Jersey used car supercenter wants you to save big this month on their enormous selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. Don't want to pay a lot? No problem. They have dozens of vehicles priced under $25,000. Don't have a down payment? No problem. They work with dozens of banks and will work hard to get you approved for the vehicle of your dreams. Just minutes from all bridges or online 24/7 at TurnersvilleJeep.com. Again, that's TurnersvilleJeep.com.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Do it today at 1210 WPHT.
The Sunday morning show's here again with Uncle Barry and his friends.
Yes, indeedy, we are back. You are listening to the Barry Sable Show with friends. Love that Newman Price jingle. Hey, Alex, before we continue, let's have a little laughter this morning. So a man asked his wife, what would you do if I hit the lottery and won? She replied, I'd take half and leave you. Grady said, I won $12. Here is $6. Stay in touch. I thought that was pretty funny. I hope you guys out there are laughing at that too. Here's another. If you're 18 and think you're the opposite sex, you have a mental illness. If you're 8 and think you're the opposite sex, your mother has a mental illness. Just a little light side today. Alex, we were talking about this concept that I ran across the other day. Never heard of this before. Cheerophobia. Listen to this philosophy. Is an irrational aversion to happiness, joy, and fun, derived from the Greek word cheero, meaning rejoice. Listen to this. It involves activity avoiding positive experiences out of a belief that happiness will result in bad things will result. Let me continue. Avoidance, skipping social gatherings, parties, or fun events. Key characteristics. Sabotage, rejecting positive life changes, promotions, or healthy relationships. You get the point. Is this something that is actually touched our youth of today? My God, I never heard of this before.
You know, Uncle Barry, I work with a lot of young people. We have a phenomenal internship program in Burlington County, and we are breeding a new generation of strong and informed leadership. But I will say on that point, a lot of young people feel that they have been misled or they don't know it, and they're looking for purpose. I think that the answer to this question is find a purpose and remember what you're striving for. Purpose gives meaning, and meaning brings happiness. You know,
I like that. Say that again.
Purpose gives meaning, and meaning brings happiness.
Okay.
We need to remind people what we're striving for. And the cure to a lot of this insanity that we're seeing today on both sides of the aisle is, as I said, a strong generation of informed and competent leaders that starts with the individual. Peter said earlier, Washington isn't going to change itself. Government is going to change itself, but the individual can take complete control.
Yeah, but here's my question. But hold that thought for 1 second. To me, there's a lot of brainwashing that's going on. Let me give you an example. Obama's director of ICE This is brainwashing. Received a medal for removing 900,000 illegal aliens. Sounds good to me. Trump's border czar, who oversees ICE, is now called, in a short period of time, a Nazi. Hey, Alex, they're the same person. Their secretary, Tom Holman. How many times have you seen Schumer, Pelosi, Booker, and all these people delivering Hillary Clinton, delivering a message years ago about immigration and border control, and now they have a completely different philosophy? How does anybody know what to pick and choose? And I'm talking about the minds that aren't fully developed.
Well, you're right, Uncle Barry, and that's what we need to get back to. You know, part of what we're seeing now is that it hasn't been in America's nature to be so obsessed over politics, because we used to live in a country where both parties were striving towards the same goal. As I said at the beginning of the show, this is the problem with hyper-partisanship, because it's not about what's right, it becomes about who's right. And we need to go back to the former.
Well, let me ask you a question. Hey, Kirk, I would like at that point, let's pull up and play, if we can, clip 3. And this is how liberals always walk away when they're caught in a conversation that they don't feel comfortable with. Rather than dissect it and explain what your thoughts may be, they quit. Let's pull up clip 3. Listen to this,
Our president here, his name is Trump. That's a pretty racist man. How?
Give me an example of his racism.
News.
Give me one example. Just give me one example.
Just watch the news, sweetheart. There are plenty of examples.
Watch the news, sweetheart. Give me one example that he's racist.
Okay, Trump has flat out, flat with the racism.
How?
Comments, concerns.
What comments? Name one comment that he said that was racist.
Okay.
Because if he's racist, I want to know, because I don't want to support a racist.
There you go. We heard enough of that. Let's go to clip 3 if we can. There was Kirk, if we could pull that up for a second. Liberal, she walks away. And that wasn't quite the clip I was looking for. But let's go to clip 3 if we can. Do we
the
have
presence
that?
of so many illegal immigrants makes a mockery of all of those who are going through the process of immigrating legally.
I think it's bullshit.
Do you disagree with that?
I disagree with that.
Do you know who said that?
Republican.
Obama from 2010.
I don't really think that I want to participate any further.
Okay.
Alex, that clip just made your point. People are not communicating anymore. We don't have any common grounds. As soon as they don't hear what they don't want to hear, they walk away and they quit. How do you negotiate? How do you transact with people like that?
You know, it's sad for me to see stuff like that, Uncle Barry, and that is all too common in our politics today. I think what we're seeing with something like that young woman is she's getting a lot of her information from quick social media clips, scrolling through TikTok, Instagram, and she's not building a solid understanding of what the issues are.
Of course.
I don't want to bring people down. I want to lift people up. I don't want to beat that young woman down. I want to have a real conversation with her about the real issues. And too many people are living in distractions and abstract concepts. And that comes from getting all of your news online. As I said before, the internet is a tool, but you need to know how to use it.
Yeah.
You have to sit down and dive deep into what the issues are to be a well-informed person. A lot of young people today are angry and frustrated because they only have a vague idea of what's happening, and they're taking that small sentiment and building upon it to its logical extreme end.
Let's call a spade a spade. You have
Yeah.
a job. Maybe your wife has a job as well. Both work. Got to come home, take care of the kids, have to make dinner, talk to your parents, talk to your friends, walk the dog. Nobody really has time to indulge in politics. This is the problem. We have uninformed people that go to the polls all the time, and they vote for whether he's a good-looking guy, good-looking girl. Nobody knows what the policies are. How could they know? So how could you judge somebody and say, wow, that's a nice-looking person? Nobody puts these people in political powerful situations based on qualifications. It's based on gender. It's based on color. It's based on everything that's wrong, Alex. Everything.
How do we fight against this, Uncle Barry? It has to start with you. To quote the famous author Everett Hale, or to paraphrase, you can't do everything, but you can do something. Pick one issue and spend 20 minutes a day learning about it. Buy one book, just one book on one subject, and then use the internet and social media to enhance your understanding.
Alex, we're graduating kids. They can't read. They can't write. They can't do arithmetic. They're the future of today. This is the generation. And especially, we talked about Fauci last week, the destruction of a whole generation that isn't up to speed. These people can't count. They can't use a calculator. They can't add and subtract. And you want them to pick up a book and read? Yeah, over the phone. Can I tell you something? And play games and all that kind of stuff. Good luck with that, young man.
Uncle Barry, what did I say to you at the beginning of the show? Go back to basics. This is something that everyone can do right now. You know, part of the reason that I'm here standing to you and talking about these issues is because I care. And I've been blessed with this knowledge set because of what I've done. But also, I was raised by two fantastic parents who are listening here at home who made sure that I had a good head on my shoulders.
Yep.
Thank you to them for everything that they did. And parents can do the same with their kids today. It's going to take a collective effort, but it has to start with you. It has to start with the parent at home, the kid who's taking a genuine interest in a subject. It doesn't have to be about politics. It could be about anything. Build on something that child is interested in and expand it from there. That is how you're going to save this country. I truly believe it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And I have to just tell you something before the break. Thank the Lord I was born in the United States. I'll say it over and over and over. I wish everybody felt that way. Make us believe it, Alex Bernstein. Kirk Corliss, we're up against the break. You're listening to the Barry Sable Show with friends. My special guest, the young superstar, a budding superstar. I see this guy, governor. Who the heck knows? Listen, South Jersey, on the chat room, everybody's saying he's for president. See you on the other side of the break.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
Mainline Today said it, and we couldn't agree more. Kathy Romano is officially the best music radio DJ in Philadelphia. Hear Philly's best every weekday morning on B101, the Kathy Romano Show.
A small business affirmation from Progressive. Plumbers, today will be a good day. You will be profitable. Your clients will be nice. No one will stand over you and tell you how to fix the thing they actually hired you to fix. You will also feel at peace after switching to Progressive, America's #1 commercial auto insurer. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, #1 commercial auto insurer from the NAIC's 2024 National Premium Data.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Craving real barbecue? Head to Henry's Hots Barbecue in Folsom, New Jersey. Voted Best of South Jersey Barbecue for 14 years. Open Friday through Sunday from noon till 7. Featuring St. Louis-style ribs, beef brisket, burgers, and an all-you-can-eat buffet every Sunday. Dine inside, relax outside, grab takeout, or let Henry's Hots cater your next event with full-service catering. Find them at 1003 Black Horse Pike in Folsom or visit bestbbqsj.com. Henry's Hots Barbecue. Real Texas-style barbecue done right.
Pastor Brad Lacey here, First Baptist Church, Conshohocken. Join us Saturdays for the great message and be blessed. 5 a.m. right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hi, I'm Paul Cozy from Cozy Jewelers. If you're looking for the perfect engagement ring, don't settle. At our family-owned store in Newtown Square, we design and create every ring ourselves. So you're dealing direct with the designer, me. Custom doesn't have to cost more, but poor quality will cost you for years. Step up to the 5th C and get an heirloom quality ring that's as unique as your love story at Cozy Jewelers. That's color, cut, clarity, carat, and cozy.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
Now you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
Yes, indeedy, I am back. You are listening to the Barry Sable Show with friends on this beautiful Sunday morning. I hope you guys are at the beach, golf course, Pocono Mountains, somewhere enjoying this great weather. Alex, we've touched not that much because the hour has flown by, and we tried to talk about a lot of things, but I want to make a statement, and then I want to make another statement that I'll let you comment to. I want people to understand socialism is the opposite of freedom. Is not protected by trusting those in power. Remember that. Rather, it's protected by limiting their power in the first place. That's number one. Alex.
Well said.
Thank you. Let me give you this. The richest people in the world are 75% entrepreneurs, 15% investors, 7% athletes, 3% artists, 0% employees. Nobody gets rich with just a salary. It's a scam. Remember, socialism is beneath this. Go ahead, young budding star. Talk to me.
Wow, that is a fantastic quote. And, growing up, I had a fantastic experience in school. I met a lot of great people, but oftentimes it sets a lot of people down a one-way track. I noticed on that list, 75% are entrepreneurs?
Yeah.
I think, again, that really ties into what we're talking about here. If you want to save America, start by saving yourself. Start with you. Start with one idea and build it out from there.
Yep.
Even me being on the show today, Uncle Barry, I never thought I would be here talking to you. But you got to take a shot and take some chances.
Why, am I too old? I'm not good looking anymore? What the heck?
It's because you're too good looking and too well known that I'm even honored to be sitting here with you.
Well, Alex, let me tell you something. I've had them all. We've had the Roger Stones. We've had the McCormicks. We've had the the Bashaws. We've had Chitterellis. I've had them all, but I have to tell you the truth. As bright as they are, and they are, you are young. You are interested in politics. You deliver a message. You're intuitive. I have to tell the people again, Rutgers graduated first, not in 4, but in 3 years. You love politics. I've spent some time with you on the campaign trail as you were trying to get people elected. It's exuberating for me. I love young people. I love watching the development of people like you. And I'm sitting here watching the chat room. Great show, Barry. Alex and Kurt, awesome job as always. You are resonating with people. This has been a great show. You know why? Because the days are learning, and you're learning. Tell me what your experience has been in the last 2 weeks coming into the studio with Uncle Barry and why this is valuable and important to you going forward in your career.
It's been an incredible experience, Uncle Barry, and I can't thank you enough for having me on the show. When you speak in front of people and you speak about ideas, you have to have something to say.
Yep.
And part of my job is speaking to people on the ground every day about the local issues that are happening in the county. Doing something like this, it really empowers you to speak your mind.
Yep.
And as a young person, you have to start by doing a lot of listening. My job is to listen and observe. And then people turn to you as you get just a little bit older and they say, well, what do you have to say, young man? And I'm glad that I have a forum here to speak with you and talk to your listeners.
It's my pleasure. It's called opportunity. And this is what we've been talking about. This is opportunity. We met, you and I, at an event, let's say, for Justin Murphy. We developed a relationship. We developed friendship. And we've developed a thought process. We don't always see eye to eye. Our generations take us in different places. But you're a guy that understands common sense and logic. And that doesn't exist today, my friend.
That has to be our guiding light, Uncle Barry. When I'm on the ground, I often steal one quote from the great Alec Baldwin in Glengarry Glen Ross. He says, ABC, always be closing. I say always be campaigning. And when you campaign, don't campaign with partisan blinders on. Campaign on common sense issues. I think that that's going to be our shining light. And going back to the basics on things that everybody can agree on.
Yep. Well, let me tell you something. Stalker, if you're out there listening, 3 to 6 a midday for Uncle Barry and Alex Bernstein, we're available. We'll come when needed. Alex, when we talk about opportunity, there's a lot of young people that think their dreams don't exist. They don't see it. They don't feel it. What do we have to do with the fleeting moments that we have left to instill the American dream in people? How do we gain confidence? Is it the government's job? Is it our parents' job? Is it our job at schools? Where are the youth of today who are going to lead us going forward? Where are they going to get this knowledge from? Maybe everywhere.
To the youth of today, I say, take a shot. Take a stab at one thing that interests you and build it out from there. You'd be amazed at what's possible.
Yeah, well, Rosie Horn on the chat line. Jersey needs so many more Alexes. You ain't got them, Rosie. I got them today. I wish we could clone them. You're 1,000% right. Oh, it's Rosalie. Okay, Rosalie. Uncle Barry never gets anybody's name right, including himself. That's the way it goes. Listen, we're starting to close in. We only got a few more minutes left. Why don't you tell me some closing thoughts? Why don't I give you 45 seconds? You're my guest. That's how it works on the Barry Sable Show with friends.
Well, thank you for that, Uncle Barry. It has been great to be here. And to Rosalie and everybody else, there are a lot of more young people like me. You just don't see them every day. My job is to be here as a representative and shine a light on the great things that are happening in Burlington County, in New Jersey, and across the whole country. We have to start with optimism and providing hope for our future generation.
How are we going to do this? We have the left that fights you in every which way. Listen, look at the WNBA now. They want transgender men in a woman's sport. We can't even agree to a man not walking into a girl's bathroom. How are we ever going to jump over the big obstacles if we can't get through the little ones?
You have to start at the little ones, Uncle Barry. It starts with you and me. It starts with your friends and your neighbors. And that's how we're going to make change.
Yep. Listen, I guess we're done.
Look
this
at that.
hour went by.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000,